Alrighty, folks, we cashed in on 4 games yesterday on my website. We cashed in on the Twins, Red Sox, Giants, and Rangers. And the only way you could access all of those winners is to be a chairman member on my site. The chairman package is a full access, all-inclusive membership. It gives you access to every single personal play of mine, every single package, every single day for the next 30 days. And as an added bonus, you also get access to my Chairman podcast absolutely free. It's included with your purchase. Now, if you don't need access to every one of my premium selections, but you may be interested in like one a day, you may want to think about signing up for my $1.99 daily best play. It gives you one of my premium selections every single day for the next 30 days. If you sign up here today, the math works out to be just 6 cents a day. I'm 2-0 my last 2 daily best plays, 62% my last 13 extra daily picks, 3-0 my last 3 underdog plays, 61% my last 18 crowd pleaser teasers, 61% my last 76 Major League Baseball tier package picks, and finally, I'm 66% in my last 53 chairman plays on that site. I currently have over 540 members who are signed up and active on my website right now. And with that, folks, we're going to go ahead and dive into some free content. We're going to start off with the Nats at the Phillies, Game 1, 4:05 Eastern first pitch. Of course, that is the first of a doubleheader. Philadelphia is minus 280, totals 9 runs. Zach Wheeler for the Fightins, Trevor Williams for Washington. Now, Williams has an ERA close to 5, along with a 1.49 whip. Now, the Nats are also a bottom 10 run-producing team. They're going to have to face Zach Wheeler, who continues to perform well. The righty's got 149 strikeouts and a 1.11 whip. Now, these Phillies pitchers, as a whole, they're also tough to hit against at the bank. They're allowing just 7.3 hits per 9 on their own diamond. Pache and Marsh are still out for the Phils. The Fightins' last 3 straight at Citizens Bank Park all got over the total. They were also 60% to the over in their last 10 at any location. The Nats have allowed over 7 runs a game in their last 10 meetings with Philadelphia. So if you're into historical trends, certainly want to think about that one there. Give me the Phillies minus 1.5, over 9 in Game 1. Next matchup, Marlins-Reds, 6:40 p.m. East. Miami's $1.45, totals 10.5. Braxton Garrett for Miami, Luke Weaver for Cincinnati. And even though Weaver stinks, the Reds love playing for the guy. Since he got the W in 9 out of their last 12 Luke Weaver starts, these Reds hitters also average over 6.9 runs a game during that stretch of Luke Weaver starts I just mentioned. Matt McLain hits .302 with an OPS just about in the 900s. Spencer Steer's the club leader in homers and hits. They're facing Braxton Garrett, who does allow his fair share of runs. The lefty comes into today's matchup with an ERA in the 4s. Now, as a team, the Marlins have been playing some pretty bad baseball. They're on a 5-game skid, and they also took the loss in 8 out of their last 10. Despite having the best hitter in baseball, the Marlins are a bottom 5 run-producing lineup on the road. Davis is still out of the lineup for Miami. Fraley and India inactive for Cincinnati. 5 out of Garrett's last 6 starts for the Marlins got over the total. Give me the Reds plus 1.5, over 10.5. Next matchup I have for you, it is going to be Twins at the Tigers, 6:40 p.m. East. Minnesota's the $1.20 favorite on the road, totals 8.5. Sonny Gray for Minnesota, Eduardo Rodriguez for Detroit. And even though Ed-Rod's been fantastic this season, the Tigers are playing some pretty bad baseball at the moment. These guys dropped 7 out of their last 10, and they have all kinds of problems at the dish. They're averaging under 3.9 runs a game at Comerica Park. They're also facing Sonny Gray, who's been tough to hit this year. He's got 123 strikeouts and an ERA in the low 3s. Now, these Minnesota pitchers have also been tough to hit against this year, especially on the road. Minnesota's allowing only 3.8 runs a game in their travels this year. Buxton, Gordon, Kirilloff, Lewis, and Miranda, they are all currently still out for the Twins. Minnesota did hold the Tigers to under 4 runs a game in their last 10 head-to-head meetings. And in addition to that, they also saw the under cash in 5 out of their last 7 sunny gray starts. Give me the Twins minus $1.20, under 8. Next contest I have for you, it is going to be Cardinals at the Rays, 6:40 p.m. East. Tampa Bay's minus $1.65, totals 8.5. Zach Eflin for Tampa Bay, Miles Mikolas for St. Louis. Now, Mikolas does have a losing record on the year with an ERA in the 4s. Now, as a team, St. Louis lost 7 out of their last 10. They really struggled at the plate during that span. Now, they got to face Zach Eflin, who's 12-6 on the year with a 1.00 whip. Now, the Rays also pound the baseball. They're a top 3 run-producing lineup in the American League. Yandy Diaz has the highest batting average in the lineup. OPS in the 900s as well. Diaz is actually in the top 10 in the big leagues right now in both of those categories I just mentioned. Meanwhile, Wander Franco's the club leader in hits. Mejia and Walls are still injured for Tampa. Brendan Donovan out for St. Louis. The Cards did go 6-2 to the over in their last 8 Miles Mikolas starts. Meanwhile, the Rays are currently 61% to the over at the Trop. Give me Tampa Bay minus 165, over 8.5. Next matchup, Braves Pirates, 7:05 Eastern first pitch. Atlanta's $1.55, totals 10. Yanni Chirinos for Atlanta, Mitch Keller for Pittsburgh. Keller's got 8 losses on the year with an ERA of 4.35. And unfortunately for Keller, the Pirates just don't want to win for the guy. The Bucks took the loss in their last 6 straight Keller starts. They averaged under 2.1 runs a game during that span. Now they got to face an Atlanta team who can certainly score with the best of them. The Braves average more runs a game than any other franchise in the National League. Ronald Acuna's got the 3rd highest batting average and OPS average in the majors. Meanwhile, Matt Olson currently leads the major leagues in RBI with 99 of them. 7 out of Atlanta's last 10 ball games did get over the total. They also saw their last 4 straight Chirino starts get over the line. Meanwhile, on the other side of things, the Pirates have allowed nearly 7 runs a game in their last 10 meetings with the Braves. So once again, if you're into historical trends, certainly want to think about that one there. Give me Atlanta minus $1.55, over 10. Next matchup, Astros, Orioles, 7:05 Eastern first pitch. Houston's minus $1.30, totals 8. Framber Valdez for the Astros, Grayson Rodriguez for Baltimore. Now, Gray Rod's recorded only 2 wins this season through 68 innings of work. The righty's got an ERA in the 6s along with a 1.50 whip. And in Rodriguez's last 5 starts, the O's have had a tough time touching home plate. They average just 2.8 runs a game. And it certainly could be more of the same here today. They're taking on lefty Framber Valdez, and he's just 1 win shy of double digits. The lefty's actually punched out 141 hitters, and he has a solid 1.07 whip. Now at the plate, the Astros actually do the majority of their hitting on the road. These guys are currently in the top 5 in the American League in hits per game while traveling. Kyle Tucker's the club leader in RBI and hits. Meanwhile, Yordan Alvarez, he still has an OPS in the thousands. Now, 6 out of Houston's last 10 meetings with Baltimore did stay under the total, so plenty of unders to go around. Give me Houston minus $1.30, under 8. All right, next contest. It's going to be the Nats Phillies game 2, and that'll be a 7:05 Eastern first pitch. Philadelphia is the $2 favorite in game 2, totals 9 runs. Ranger Suarez for Philadelphia, Josiah Gray for Washington. And even though I did like the Phils in game 1, I do think the Nats can keep game 2 close enough to cover. They've got Josiah Gray on the mound, and he definitely gives them a chance to compete. The righty's got 105 strikeouts and an ERA in the threes. The Nats also hit well on the road. They're a top 5 hit producing lineup in the National League while traveling. Lane Thomas is the club leader in hits and RBI. He's got a 3.5 wins above replacement average. Meanwhile, C.J. Abrams is second on the roster in runs scored, club leader in stolen bases. Now they're taking on Ranger Suarez, who's recorded only 2 wins through 85 plus. The lefty's currently 2-5 on the year with a 1.43 whip. These Phillies pitchers are also in the bottom 5 in the National League in strikeouts per 9 in the box. And contrary to my lean in Game 1, I do think Game 2 should stay under the total. The Nats are 6-1 to the under in their last 7 road games. They're also 62% to the under in their contests against the NL East. Give me the Nats plus 1.5, under 9 in Game 2. Next matchup, it is going to be Cubs-Mets, 7:10 p.m. East. The Chicago Cubs are minus $1.20, totals 9 runs. Jameson Taillon for Chicago, Carlos Carrasco for New York. Now, Carrasco really hasn't impressed me much this year. He's just 3-6 with an ERA of 6.60. The Mets are also one of the worst hitting lineups in the National League. They're averaging under 7.2 hits a game in Flushing, Queens. They're facing a Chicago club who continues to win with Jameson Taillon on the bump. The Cubs got the W in their last 5 straight Taillon starts. They averaged nearly 8 runs a game during that span. Nico Hoerner's the club leader in hits and RBI. Jeimer Candelario's 12 for 25 with his new ball club. Starling Marte is back on the IL for New York. When it comes to the total, the Mets averaged just 3.9 runs a game in their last 10 meetings with Chicago. And no real shock here, folks. The under cashed in 60% of those gatherings. Now, the Cubs saw the under cash in 8 out of their last 11 Taillon starts. Give me Chicago minus $1.20, under 9. Next matchup I have for you, it is going to be Royals at the Red Sox, 7:10 Eastern start time. Boston's minus $1.70, totals 10 runs. Cutter Crawford for Boston, Brady Singer for Kansas City. Now, Singer's got a losing record and an ERA in the 5s. The Royals are also one of the worst hitting lineups in the game. They average under 7.7 hits per contest in their road trips. They're going up against righty Cutter Crawford, who's got an ERA in the 3s along with a 1.09 whip. Now, this Bo Sox lineup also loves hitting at Fenway. They're leading the American League in hits per game on their own diamond. Masataka Yoshida's the team leader in hits. Rafi Devers, he has more RBI than any other player on this Boston roster. Nick Prado's still out for Kansas City. Not going to see him, maybe for the rest of the year. I don't know. I really don't know what's going on with him. But anyway, 3 out of KC's last 4 road games did get over the total. They're also 70% to the over in their last 10. Now, Boston averaged nearly 6.5 runs a game in their last 10 meetings with Kansas City. Give me the Bo Sox minus $1.70, over 10. Next game, Blue Jays Guardians, 7:10 Eastern start time. Toronto's minus $1.25, totals 8.5. Yusei Kikuchi for Toronto, Tanner Bybee for Cleveland. And even though Bybee's thrown well this year, the Guardians are playing some terrible baseball. They're on a 3-game skid. They also took the loss in 8 out of their last 10. The Guardians' biggest issue this year has been their bats. They're scoring just 3.7 runs a game at Progressive Field. They're taking on Yusei Kikuchi, who's 9-3 on the year with 119 strikeouts. The Blue Jays also love hitting the baseball on the road. They're averaging just about double-digit hits a game in their travels. Whit Merrifield, he has a batting average just about in the 300s. Meanwhile, George Springer, he's currently the club leader in runs scored. Now, Kevin Kiermaier, he is questionable for Toronto. Bo Bichette's still out. Meanwhile, for Cleveland on the other side, slugger Josh Naylor, he's still out for them. Huge blow to their lineup. Tyler Freeman also inactive. 3 out of Toronto's last 4 home games fell under the total. They also went 80% to the under in their last 10 at any location. Toronto went 8-2 to the under in their last 10 themselves. Give me the Blue Jays minus $1.25, under 8. Next ball game, Rockies at the Brewers, 8:10 Eastern start time. Milwaukee's the $2.15 favorite, totals 8.5. Wade Miley for Milwaukee, Kyle Freeland for Colorado. Now, Freeland's recorded 12 losses on the year, and he has an ERA close to 5. Now, these Rocky hitters are also having a tough time on the road. They're averaging only 3.8 runs a game in their travels. They're facing Wade Miley, who's got an ERA of 3.01, along with a 1.16 whip. And this Milwaukee pitching staff, they've been, tough to hit against. They're limiting their competition to only 7.8 hits a game. Winker and Tellez are out for the Brewers. Blackman and Bryant out for Colorado. The Rockies allowed just 6 runs a game in their last 10 gatherings with the Brewers. Milwaukee's gone 60% to the over in their last 10. Give me the Brewers minus 1.5, over 8.5. Next ball game, it is going to be Yankees at the White Sox, 8:10 Eastern first pitch. New York's minus $1.55, totals 9. Clark Schmidt for the Bombers, Touki Toussaint for Chicago. And even though Toussaint's thrown well, he's got just 1 win to show for it. And much of that is due to some poor plate appearances by Chicago. These guys are a bottom 5 run-producing lineup on their own field. They're taking on Clark Schmidt. And he's got a winning record this year and 103 strikeouts. And out of New York's last 10 meetings with the White Sox, they held Chicago to under 3.6 runs a game. Anthony Rizzo is still out for the Pinstripers. 7 out of New York's last 10 meetings with the White Sox fell under the total. So once again, if you're into historical trends, plenty of unders to go around. Chicago saw their last 4 straight Touki Toussaint starts fall under the line. Give me the Yankees minus 155, under 9. Next ball game, Giants at the Angels, 9:38 Eastern start time. San Francisco is $1.15, totals 9. Scott Alexander for San Francisco, Lucas Giolito for Los Angeles. Now the Angels are on a 7-game skid, and they've performed poorly at the plate. LA striking out 9.6 times a game at Angels Stadium. They're also a bottom 5 hit-producing lineup in the American League at home. They're facing a Giants club who won 6 out of their last 9. And they do a nice job getting base runners on the road. These guys are in the top 3 in walks per 9 at the plate while traveling. Lamont Wade's been walked 62 times this year. He's got an OPS of 828. Meanwhile, teammate Wilmer Flores, he's hitting .306 with an OPS in the 900s. Yastrzemski's out for the Giants. Trout, Rendon, and Neto still inactive for the Angels. 7 out of LA's last 10 ball games stayed under the total. San Francisco's gone 80% to the under in their last 10 themselves. Give me the Giants minus $1.15, under 9. Next ball game, Dodgers at the Diamondbacks, 9:40 p.m. East. LA's minus $1.55 on the road, totals 9 runs. Julio Urias for Los Angeles, Brandon Pfaadt for Arizona. Now, Pfaadt's a winless 0-5 on the season with an ERA in the 7s. This Arizona organization continues to lose ball games. They're on a 6-game losing streak, and they've actually recorded only 3 wins since July 20th. They posted a record of just 3-14 during that time frame. They're taking on a Dodger club who scores more runs a game on the road than any other franchise in the National League. These guys average just about 6 runs a game in their travels. Freddie Freeman's got the highest OPS average in the National League. Top 5 in the entire league in RBI and batting average. Meanwhile, Mookie Betts, he's in the top 5 in both home runs and OPS as well. And even if the bats don't go well for the Dodgers, they've got lefty Julio Urias on the mound, and he's certainly been solid. The lefty's got himself a 1.18 whip. Now, Marisnick and DeLuca are still out for Los Angeles. Ketel Marte questionable for Arizona. The Dodgers saw their last 4 straight on the road get over the total. They're also 8-2 to the over in their last 10 at any location. Give me the Dodgers minus $1.55, over 9. Next contest, it is going to be Padres at the Mariners, 9:40 p.m. East. Seattle's $1.25, totals 8.5. Logan Gilbert for Seattle, Nick Martinez for San Diego. Now the Pods lost 3 out of their last 4, and they've got a losing record on the road. Now when it comes to hitting the baseball, the Pods have certainly had their issues. They're averaging only 7.9 hits a game when they bat first. They're going up against Logan Gilbert here today for Seattle. He's 9-5 this year with a 1.07 whip. Now, the righties also punched out 126 batters, and he's got an ERA in the 3s. Now, these Seattle pitchers, they've also had pinpoint location all season long. They actually walk fewer batters per 9 than any other staff in the American League. The Mariners went 60% to the under in their last 10. Meanwhile, all 5 of Nick Martinez's starts this year for San Diego stayed under the line. Give me the Mariners minus $1.25, under 8.5. And with that, folks, we're going to jump into our next and final breakdown for the video. It's going to be in that Rangers Athletics game, 9:40 p.m. East. Texas is the $2.60 favorite on the road, totals 8 runs. Max Scherzer for the Rangers, J.P. Sears for Oakland. And out of 121-plus innings, the lefty Sears has recorded just 2 wins. He's officially 2-8 on the year with an ERA in the 4s. The A's also have the worst record in baseball, and they score the fewest amount of runs. They're facing a Rangers club who can certainly outscore anyone. They lead the majors in run production and hits per game. Corey Seager bats .349 with an OPS in the thousands. Meanwhile, Adolis Garcia, he has the most RBI in the American League. Miller, Heim, and Young are out for Texas. Perez and Noda inactive for Oakland. The A's are 61% to the under in their divisional home games. Meanwhile, the Rangers are 8-2 to the under in their last 10. Give me the Rangers minus 1.5, under 8 runs. And with that, folks, now it's time for our quick pick recap. Philadelphia Phillies minus 1.5, over 9 in Game 1. Give me the Reds plus 1.5, over 10 and a hook. Twins minus $1.20, under 8. I got the W in 4 different premium selections on my website yesterday. And I have packages on that website starting at just $1.99. The link for my site is in my bio. Tampa Bay Rays minus 165, over 8.5. Atlanta Braves minus 155, over 10. Houston Astros minus 130, under 8. Washington Nationals plus 1.5, under 9 in Game 2. Give me the Cubs minus 120, under 9. Red Sox minus 170, over 10. Blue Jays minus $1.25, under 8. Brewers minus 1.5, over 8.5. Yankees minus 155, under 9. Giants minus $1.15, under 9. Mariners minus $1.25, under 8.5. With my next and final free pick, give me the Rangers minus 1.5, under 8. With that, folks, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on my website. If you guys do end up getting a package here today on patreon.com/BrockPage, just a friendly reminder, you're going to get access to that membership every single day for the next 30 days. And as an added bonus, guys, you're also going to get access to all of my cheaper memberships absolutely free. They're going to be included with your purchase. That's why I always tell folks that Chairman package, it's a full access, all-inclusive membership. It gives you access to every single personal play of mine, every single package, every single day for the next 30 days. And as an added bonus, guys, you also get access to my Chairman podcast absolutely free. It's included with your purchase. But most importantly, guys, gotta thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. And with that said, guys, happy Tuesday to you. Best of luck to you. I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at patreon.com/rockpage.